So here I would like to talk about the third part of Confessions of an English Opium Eater, the Pains of Opium. In earlier talks, I've discussed the way De Quincey represents time and space in the first two sections. The first section, Preliminary Confessions, as noted, he talks about time and space in a fairly traditional way. In the Pleasures of Opium, time and space become bent, curved, italicized, intensified, as De Quincey walks around London at night, having taken the opium. Well, in the third part, the Pains of Opium, time and space become entirely subjective. And in this sense, as they come across in De Quincey's opium trips, opium hallucinations, they are expanded almost to infinity. So there's an interesting irony. De Quincey sitting still in his abode, Dove Cottage, in fact, which he rented after the Wordsworths left it, sitting in Dove Cottage, taking opium, having opium dreams. He is stationary in a tiny cottage in the Lake District, but mentally he goes everywhere. He transverses eons in time, and he transverses miles when it comes to space. And he talks about the expansion of space and time very specifically in the early parts of the Pains of Opium. And he says this: during my opium hallucinations, the sense of space and in the end the sense of time were both powerfully affected. Buildings, landscapes were exhibited in proportions so vast as the bodily eye is not fitted to receive. Space swelled and was amplified to an extent of unutterable infinity. This, however, did not disturb me so much as the vast expansion of time. I sometimes seemed to have lived for 70 or 100 years in one night, nay, sometimes had feelings representative of a millennium past in that time, or however of a duration far beyond the limits of any human experience. So by the time we get to the third section, space and time have become entirely unmoored from actual maps or historical timelines. They are totally subjective, and as such become perversely expanded. You'll note that De Quincey talks about the swelling of space in terms of Piranesi's architecture. Piranesi, this Italian engraver artist of the 18th century, depicts these sort of infinitely expanding prisons. And then he talks about time more in the context of his Orientalism, where he says, I feel as if I've become a kind of antediluvian person, and I've returned to the very cradle of civilization in Asia, and I've relived all of world history in one night. Those are the Pains of Opium.